Emily.
And I'm Meghan, and this is British Books Corporation.
Here's the latest news about crime in London.
There have been reports of a stalker following a young woman through Trafalgar Square and beyond. The believed suspect is Peter Walsh, who has just returned home from India. The young woman who reported Walsh to the police reported that she first noticed him following her from Trafalgar Square across Oxford Street and Great Portland Street, only stopping when she entered her residence. One of his last known whereabouts was here in Regent's Park, where he was sitting in the shade smoking. It has only been reported that he has since talked to socialite Clarissa Dalloway, wife of Richard Dalloway, a member of Parliament in the Conservative government. Walsh is about 50 years old. He is often seen smoking or fiddling with an old horn-handled knife, but is not believed to be violent. Authorities are asking for anyone with knowledge of Peter's whereabouts to contact them.
In the latest update of the Bartholomew Sholto murder case, Detective Sherlock Holmes, based on Baker Street, has reportedly employed the help of his Baker Street irregulars to help find out information on the whereabouts of the murderer and thief of the Sholto family treasure. The irregulars are street boys, led by an older boy named Wiggins. They are employed by Holmes as intelligence agents to investigate in places where he may not be able to go because of his reputation. It is reported that Holmes also often uses disguises to maintain his anonymity. Throughout this past week, there have been numerous accounts of pickpocketing around the city. Here sitting with me in the studio is Kat Jacobson, who was a witness to one of these crimes. Kat, thank you so much for being here today. Now, you have informed us that you witnessed a little boy pickpocket a gentleman, correct?
Yes, I saw the whole thing right down the street from me. I was just walking home after getting groceries and saw 3 small boys running without a guardian, which I thought was strange. At a fast pace, they began approaching an older gentleman who seemed to be taking a leisurely stroll. All of a sudden, one of the boys reached his hand into the back pocket of the gentleman and ran off with what looked like to be some cloth of some type. Maybe a handkerchief?
Did you happen to see his reaction?
Yes, actually, he had a fairly quick reaction. As the small boy was running away, the gentleman put his hand into his pocket and immediately accused the child. He kept yelling, "Stop, thief!" I think that's what he said.
That must have been so scary for you to experience. Thank you so much for your time. We have obtained footage of the alleged pickpocketer. If anyone sees any questionable activity around the city, please report to police immediately. Breaking news, we're now cutting to live footage of a boat chase occurring on the Thames River. Sherlock Holmes and his associate, Dr. Watson, are in pursuit of the boat Aurora, owned by Mordecai Smith. It is alleged that also on the boat is Jonathan Small, responsible for the death of Bartholomew Sholto and the theft of a family treasure, believed to be taken by Sholto's father from India. According to our sources, Small believes the treasure was his because he and 3 of his acquaintances recovered the treasure while imprisoned in India. When they struck a deal with Sholto, who was a major station to overlook the prisoners, they were stabbed in the back and Sholto escaped with the treasure. Small allegedly spent years plotting how to retrieve the treasure, and found it when it was discovered by Major Sholto's sons. He killed Bartholomew Sholto and made off with the treasure. Holmes is working this case with Scotland Yard Detective Anthony Jones on behalf of Mary Morstan, whose father was an old friend of Major Sholto's back when they served in India, and also was involved in the situation surrounding the treasure. The boats are in the Thames and have moved through the pool, the space between the London Bridge and the curve around the Isle of Dogs. The boats are moving past the West India docks and down the long Deptford Reach. Holmes is steadily gaining on the Aurora, but it looks like something was just thrown out of the first ship, and shots are being exchanged between the 2 boats. We will keep you informed on further developments in this case.
Here's the latest news in the real estate world. Swarms of teenagers are moving into a new area of London. It appears Notting Hill, specifically the W10 and W11 areas, are a beacon for everything young teenagers are looking for. The area offers stark contrasts of posh neighborhoods mixed in with fixer-upper sections. There's a home for every price range. One young man gave us his impression and reasons for living there. On the south side of this area, down by the W11, things are a little different, but in a way that somehow makes them worse. And that is owing to a freak of fortune and some smart work by the estate agents too. I shouldn't be surprised there are one or two sections that are positively posh, not fashionable, mind you, but quite graded, with their big back gardens and absolute silence, which in London is the top sign of a respectable location. You walk about in these bits, adjusting your tie and looking down to see if your shoes are shining, and then, wham, suddenly you're back in the slum area again. Honest, it's really quite startling. Like where the river joins on the shore, two quite different creations of Dame Nature, cheek by thing. One reason is that it's so cheap. I mean, I have a rooted objection to paying rent at all. It should be free, like air and parks and water. I don't think I'm mean, in fact I know I'm not, but I just can't bear paying more than a bob or two to landlords. But the real reason, as I expect you'll have already guessed, is that however horrible the area is, you're free there. No one, I repeat it, no one has ever asked me there what I am, or what I do, or where I come from, or what my social group is, or whether I'm educated or not, and if there's one thing I cannot tolerate in this world, it's nosy questions, and what is more, once the local bandits see you're making it out, can earn your living and so forth, they don't swing it on you in the slightest. You're a teenager creation. If you have loot and can look after yourself, they treat you as a man, which is what you are. For instance, nobody in the area would ever have treated me like that bank clerk tried to in Belgravia. If you go anywhere, they take it for granted that you know the scene. If you don't, it's true they throw you out in pieces, but if you do, they treat you just as one of them. If interested in moving to this up-and-coming neighborhood, it's suggested you act fast and contact a real estate agent. Don't miss out on living near the cool new group of teenagers in this mosaic of a neighborhood. Coming up next, the latest news in entertainment.
In the entertainment world, it's rumored socialite Dorian Gray has found an unlikely suitor in a small theater in London. Unheard of actress Sybil Vane has apparently caught the attention of the ageless bachelor. She often does Shakespeare's work, switching between the female characters. In the recent past, she has played Juliet, Rosalind, Imogen, and been in the plays As You Like It, Hamlet, and many more. Apparently, Dorian fell in love with her during Romeo and Juliet and has been a regular patron on the theater since then. We will keep you updated on this unlikely couple. According to sources, Dorian Gray was quoted saying to a friend, "This play was good enough for us, Harry. It was Romeo and Juliet. Juliet, Harry, imagine a girl hardly 17 years of age with a little flower-like face, a small Greek head with plaited coils of dark brown hair, eyes that were violet wells of passion, lips that were like the petals of a rose. She was the loveliest thing I have ever seen in my life. You said to me once that pathos left you unmoved, but that beauty, mere beauty, could fill your eyes with tears. I tell you, Harry, I could hardly see this girl for the mist of tears that came across me. And her voice, I have never heard such a voice. It was very low at first, with deep, mellow notes that seemed to fall singly upon one's ear. Then it became a little louder, and sounded like a flute or a distant hautboy. In the garden scene, it had all the tremulous ecstasy that one hears just before dawn when nightingales are singing. There were moments, later on, when it had the wild passion of violins. You know how a voice can stir one. Your voice and the voice of Sybil Vane are two things that I shall never forget. When I close my eyes, I hear them, and each of them says something different. I don't know which to follow. Why should I not love her? Harry, I do love her. She is everything to me in life. Night after night, I go to see her play. How different an actress is. Harry, why didn't you tell me that the only thing worth loving is an actress?
And now, featured in our Highlights of London segment, Hyde Park and the many markets that take place in London.
While London is very much an urban city taking pride in its architectural wonder and success, it's also a city that understands the importance and beauty of nature. Hyde Park is the perfect example, fitted between Kensington High Street and Notting Hill. This green piece of land is an escape for Londoners and tourists of all ages. It offers a place for people to let their dogs burn off some energy and allows other visitors to enjoy the happy wagging tails of these furry four-legged park goers. The numerous trails and pathways are the perfect place for a run or long stroll around the park. Ducks, swans, and geese paddle in the ponds waiting for some extra food to be tossed their way. There are enough trees and blooming flowers to make one forget they're in the middle of the busiest city in the UK.
One component of London's beauty is its markets, such as Camden, Portobello, Borough, Brick Lane, and many more. Camden Market, for example, offers an eclectic variety of street food, handmade gifts, and clothing right along the Regent's Canal. From Colombian cuisine to vegetarian tacos to fish and chips, Camden Market is the perfect place to try a taste of various cultures and experience London's wide diversity with friends and family. The market originally opened in 1974 as a small arts and crafts fair only held on Sundays. Today, the market is open 7 days a week and has a consistent flow of both locals and tourists. This highlights the growing popularity of London's multicultural markets over the years due to its inviting environment for people of all different backgrounds.
Thanks for tuning in.
Tune in tomorrow for further developments on these stories and more.
And from us from the BBC, have a lovely day.